If you've spent the last week scrolling through endless specs, watching video after video about ultra-wide monitors, and still feel stuck wondering whether a 49-inch curve with a full bundle of accessories actually makes sense for your desk, you're not alone. I was in the same spot, juggling the idea of a massive screen for immersive gaming against the fear of ending up with a pricey setup that looks great on paper, but feels clunky in real life. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When you first hear 49-inch OLED Dual QHD curved monitor plus a headset, keyboard and mouse all in one package, the headline sounds like a dream for any serious gamer or creator. But the reality of fitting a half-wall screen into a typical home office, managing power draw, and actually using each peripheral to its full potential can be a lot more nuanced. I dug through forums, watched a handful of long-form reviews, and even asked a few people who already own similar Samsung Odyssey models about their day-to-day experience. What emerged was a picture that's less about raw numbers and more about how the pieces work together in a lived-in environment. Let's start with the monitor itself. The 49-inch curve is essentially two 27-inch QHD panels stitched together, giving you a massive horizontal canvas without the double monitor bezels you hate to see. In practice, this means you can keep a game running on one side while having a Discord chat, spreadsheet, or streaming software open on the other, and you'll never feel the urge to Alt-Tab because everything fits naturally within your field of view. For flight simulators or racing games, the immersion is genuinely impressive. The curve wraps around you just enough to reduce the feeling of looking at a flat board. That said, the size can be a double-edged sword. If you have a modest desk, say, under 70 centimeters deep, the screen will dominate the space, pushing the monitor back far enough that the sweet spot of the OLED panel sits a little farther away than you might expect. I tried it on a standard 160 centimeters desk with a decent ergonomic chair, and after a half hour of first-person shooter sessions, my eyes started to strain a bit because the sweet spot was near the edges of my peripheral vision. People who game on a couch or have a deep desk will feel more comfortable than those crammed into a tight workstation. The OLED panel delivers deep blacks and vivid colors that make HDR content pop. In bright indoor lighting, the panel's anti-glare coating does a decent job, but you'll still notice a faint washout if you sit directly under a window with sunlight. For those who plan to use the monitor as a primary TV or for movie nights, the brightness can feel a touch lower than a dedicated TV, so you might still want a separate display for that purpose. Now, onto the bundled peripherals. The headset brings 50mm graphene drivers, a term you'll see a lot in marketing, but which translates to a relatively light driver that can move air quickly for clearer highs and punchier mids. In real-world testing, the headset held up well for long gaming sessions. The weight is low enough that my neck didn't fatigue after 3 hours, and the soundstage felt wide enough to pinpoint enemy footsteps without drowning in bass. The MIC, while not a studio-grade condenser, is clean enough for Discord chats and in-game commands, though it does pick up a bit of background noise if you have a fan running. The keyboard is a Lightspeed-compatible, low-profile mechanical board. Its Lightforce hybrid switches claim a blend of tactile feel with quick actuation, and that's what you get, a satisfying click without the loud clack of traditional blue switches. For fast-paced games like Battle Royals, the key travel feels short enough to keep your reaction times sharp, yet you still get enough feedback to avoid accidental presses. The main downside is that the keycaps are made of a matte plastic that can get shiny where your fingers rest, which some users find less premium over time. The mouse rounds out the bundle with a Lightforce hybrid sensor and Lightspeed wireless technology. In practice, the latency is negligible. I could swing a sniper rifle and see the bullet hit the target without any perceptible lag, even when the mouse was at the edge of a 2-meter range. Battery life is decent, about 70 hours of continuous use, so you won't be stuck recharging daily. However, the mouse is on the heavier side, mainly because of its robust build and a built-in battery. If you prefer featherlight mice for rapid flick shots, you might find it a tad cumbersome. So, who should consider this bundle? If you're a gamer who already owns a decent desk, enjoys an ultra-wide field of view, and wants a cohesive set of peripherals that all share the same wireless ecosystem, this is a compelling package. It also makes sense for streamers who need a single screen that can double as a content creation canvas, one side for gameplay, the other for chat overlays, all while keeping the audio loop clean through the integrated headset. The value really comes from the convenience of